Hey everybody, happy Saturday. Let me see, we got sound, we have cool moderators, we have a community that's hanging in there, a team of veterans that know where things are going. So this is the Saturday morning show. It's a little bit later than normal today because I was grappling with the story as to try and weave that tapestry together. But anyway, let's jump in. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, and my clicker is not working. Give me 1 second. And I need to take the USB thing out and stick it back in, and hopefully it'll work. But without this, yes, math, money, and freedom. Anyway, thank you all for being here. So today's story, again, this is what took me so long. It goes into money, who is in, who is out, which institutions are in, what they say, how they play games. We talk a bit about staking wars, monthly candles, decentralization. And then we'll talk about the new BAKKT survey and what people are actually investing in, which is, the results are really shocking, and no wonder why some people are not happy. Finally, I'll talk about sanctions, governments, how governments lie. Just briefly, they lie so many ways. Money, and how really everybody needs to become self-sovereign as we go forward. So anyway, we also talk about Bitcoin's neutrality and how it makes it the most humanitarian asset on Earth. So that's a lot for a quickie. So I'm going to go fast. So first of all, Kevin O'Leary, he says he was talking to some key senators, and he says regulation will open up institutions, and U.S. policymakers are working on a policy to open up crypto markets to institutional investors. Well, hey, buddy, they're already here, and they have been since early 2021. We'll talk about exactly what will happen, but having more regulatory framework will open up the floodgates, no doubt about that. But let's look at this. This had me digging again, and I've given you many points of proof to show that institutions are in. But let's look at Bitcoin average transaction sizes going back to 2017. This was interesting, and this is from Into the Block. And again, more proof that I say institutions are here, and they've been here for over a year. So the average transaction size in 2017, before the crazy bull run, was $1,150. In January 2020, it was 20,000. In January 2021, it was 201,000. Today, it's between 600 and 700,000. So the institutions are here, and I always say, it's not a retail game anymore. Those retail investors that are getting shaken out right now, look what the big money is doing. To put things in perspective, average transaction sizes, what it looks like over 5 years since 2017. Sorry, 6 years. January 2017, it was negligible. You can't even see how big $11,000 is. January 2018, you can barely see 20,000. January 2019, yeah, nothing much happened. It was a kind of a dead year. January 2020, dead. January 2021, 200 grand. That is way more than 10x any of the previous 3 years. And it's gone up to nearly 3-4x, depending on the exact week you look at as to how money is coming in. So institutions are here, and they are very careful, and more are coming. So everybody hang tight. The markets may look really ugly, but we're back at levels we haven't seen since Monday, 5 days ago. So people kind of like, I don't know why. People need to zoom out more. Zoom out. Look at big picture. Look where we were 2 years ago. Look where we were a year ago. Yeah, I know it's kind of flat, but look where other things are way worse. But let's talk about this guy, Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan. He comes out and says, Bitcoin is a fraud, crypto is a fraud, etc., etc. I hate it. I hate it. Then this article comes out. JP Morgan owns Ethereum Web3 infrastructure. So there's a consensus lawsuit that revealed JP Morgan own a ton of critical Ethereum infrastructure. And I think it was Coin Bureau who said, first of all, the bankers say crypto is a scam. And then the bankers they buy a truckload of critical Web3 infrastructure. So the consensus group demanded an audit of what JP Morgan has and discovered this significant stake in things like Infura, which runs a huge part of Ethereum, and MetaMask. Now, 35 shareholders are in this consensus, etc. And it was just very eye-opening to see how much these guys own after being so negative on the crypto space for years. And we always said, I bet you secretly they're filling their own bags. There it is, right there. So a little bit of news that I thought was interesting. But think about this. At the end of the day, if you like stuff that is truly decentralized, this is another cool article that came out from Blocknomics. What is the most decentralized cryptocurrency? Quick refresher, Bitcoin, bar none, is the most decentralized in terms of its development, its mining network, its nodes, its ease of use, its access. Nothing comes close to the level of decentralization of Bitcoin. That's why when governments like Nigeria and others around the world try to ban it, they can't. They just make it more popular. So quick refresher there. Now let's talk about staking wars, because there's always a lot of talk about, oh, well, it's too centralized, too decentralized. Well, let's look at the amount staked across these top assets. I just pulled out the top 3. Obviously, Solana is ranked as the largest blockchain in terms of staking value at 34 billion, about 74% staked. Terra Luna just leapfrogged Ethereum to the second spot at 41% staked, $27 billion. That's about 7 billion behind Solana. And Ethereum, 25 billion staked at 8%. So we'll watch that carefully, but it wouldn't surprise me if Luna leapfrogs Solana soon, but we'll see. It's all really a function of what the price does. And let's look at some prices as well. This was an interesting analysis. A lot of people are talking about monthly candles, and again, I started talking about zooming out. People need to zoom out and see where things are going. And if you want a medium-term story of where things are going, zoom out and look at monthly candles. So if we look at the last, they go back to October, so it's 7-8 months ago, you can see here a little picture. Luna, since we were just talking about Luna, has 8 straight green candles, like up, 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 despite some crazy volatility, which allowed us to get more with that huge liquidity as well that came in with the $1 billion in VCs. The second one on the list there is Cardano. They are working on their 7th straight red candle. That is kind of scary. So if things continue the way they are, that'll be 7 months down. I know the Cardano army is still very bullish and very positive, but that picture tells a different story. Ethereum is a bit of a mix. They have 4 red candles with 3 green ones, and we're back at September levels. And Solana also went up very, very high, very, very fast, which is part of the problem. We're working on something to estimate gravitational pull of things that go bombastic. But Solana has had 3 red candles, 4 green, and we're back at October levels for Solana. But just having that information to be able to zoom out and get a feel for the overall trajectory of things is very important to do on occasion. Hence, I like looking at monthly candles. So next thing, let's talk about the BAKKT survey. This is a survey that looked at 1,012, I think, approximately retail consumers. 508 of them were women, very even cut. And the pieces that I wanted to pull out was, first of all, the data shows that men were earlier crypto adopters than women, but women are now coming. Women, yay, are outpacing men as first-time purchasers. So I think 38% of women made their first crypto purchase in the last 6 months compared to only 30% of men, which is great. So more power to the ladies out there. Now, the majority of women, 61%, own less than $500 in crypto, which means it suggests that the fractional crypto is a strong acquisition path for women, and it can also help them get the toe in the market, but hopefully that number will go up a lot. Now, both men and women also, per this crypto owners study, reported their top coin investments as Bitcoin, number 1, Ethereum, number 2, and Dogecoin, number 3. That is why people are so upset right now. Let's look at the Dogecoin chart. No wonder people are upset. So if we look at Dogecoin, it is down 84% over the last 10 months, and it just goes down, down, down. I should have done monthly candles on Dogecoin, but I didn't want it to color the other assets we were looking at. Now, I do fault Elon Musk with this because he's so playful sometimes on Twitter and pumping Doge and everything else. I think he has caused a lot of innocent investors to lose money, and that is the only flaw, only mistake I've seen him do in the last 12 months. So hopefully he will not start pumping this crazy stuff, because I don't think he quite understands how much whale manipulation goes on behind the scenes. So everybody remember, 2022 is the year not to hold crap assets. Be careful out there. And to see that Doge is number 3 is crazy. Now, Elon Musk's brother, he did say, came out, this got a lot of headlines. He said, today's crypto is a non-starter, according to his brother. Now, he was citing a lot of environmental concerns, but again, he should know that his brother has $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and he does believe in crypto, even things like Doge. So watch this space carefully. Sometimes siblings can be very different, and the apple can fall far from the tree. So next thing, let's talk about money, and getting to the kind of theme of today of money, self-sovereignty, sanctions, and what's going on in the world. So the question is, will sanctions stop Putin? Will crippling Russia's economy stop Putin? So this morning I did watch some videos of people on the ground in Russia, and it's heartbreaking. These are the people that are getting ravaged and destroyed. So a little indication of that. Over the last 8 years, you can tell that Russia was planning war for a long time. This is from CEIC, and it shows you the foreign exchange reserves as a share of GDP. Foreign exchange reserves within Russia, nearly 30% of their GDP is socked away. Ukraine, 14%, China, 9%, US, 0.2%. So the US isn't socking money away. But the sad thing about this picture is all of that bulletproofing of their economy to prepare for war for 8 years since the very first invasion of Crimea, it's very clear. So over $650 billion was socked away. This is all the money that they got from oil and gas exports, and socked away and not reinvested in the people or the economy or infrastructure. And that is very, very sad. Now, Russian citizens have already been bearing the cost of this conflict, not just over the sanctions of the last couple of weeks, but over the last 8 years. So let's look at this one. This is interesting. Google Trends. Top Russian search terms on Google. The week before Putin's invasion, the Levada Center, an independent Russian pollster, found that 43% of Russians between the age of 18 and 24 want to leave the country for good and never return. And 44% of those who hoped to emigrate cited the economic situation as their motivation. So everybody wants out of Russia. Young people don't want more. They just want a chance to be self-sovereign, make a living, and not live in the circumstances that they're living in today. Now let's talk about politicians and how they lie as well. And I've always said that CPI is always a cooked number. But here, Turkey, this is from Steve Hanke, and he spoke about Turkey's official inflation rate, 20-year high of 54.4%. But per Steve's calculations, it's more like 104%. Twice the actual public figure. Now, the governments always lie. Doesn't matter if it's Russian or Turkish or American. They cook the books. They lie about CPI and everything else. So in the US, 7.5% is the published print of CPI. But in reality, it's at least 2, probably 3 times that. So most likely 21%. And it doesn't take the rocket scientists to figure it out. It's probably going to be a lot higher as well. So a lot of people are talking about inflation disappearing over the next 3 to 6 months. That's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's talk about Bitcoin. Neutrality is the greatest humanitarian asset. This was, I think, a very poignant piece. And as Kraken CEO Jesse Powell said last week, as I mentioned, the mission is better served by focusing on individuals' needs above any government or political faction group. People's money is an exit strategy for humans, a weapon for peace, not war. That's why self-sovereignty is so important. And finally, sorry for trying to go as quick as I can, the hits keep on coming for BlockFi. Disgruntled BlockFi users push class action after record SEC settlement. So I think it was 40 days ago or something. BlockFi were fined $100 million by US regulators. Well, now there's a massive big class action lawsuit from a law firm called Mangano or something. And they are alleging BlockFi benefited from unjust enrichment by violating a lot of securities laws. So he's demanding members receive unspecified damage and recovery of fees. So watch this space carefully. Again, I never liked BlockFi, but the hits keep coming. So anyway, hope everybody's well. Happy Saturday. Thank you to the mods out there on the chat. And you guys all take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is our weekly Q&A where we cover all of the top issues that you were all thinking about from the week, and we break them down in great detail. So happy Saturday, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow.